Hey everybody, Gail here. Welcome to Shabby Cottage Studio. I am in the studio today. I decided that hopefully in 2026, if things go well, I'd like to start doing some process videos or craft with me type videos. And I figured what a better time to start than with a tag book. I wanted to do one more tag book before I move on to the hundreds of other projects on my list. And I thought, well, this is a good time to just turn the camera on. And this is just the way I work. This is my process, how I do things. So in the junk journal world, there is no such thing as right or wrong or making mistakes. You may do something and change your mind, which I do that all the time. So in this video, I am just going to work the way I normally do, and hopefully maybe you'll find some inspiration. Maybe you'll want to make your own tag book. I decided that this tag book that I'm going to make, I wanted something romantic. I wanted something light and pretty and romantic. So that's the only idea I had in my head when I decided to start this tag book. So let me show you what I have done so far to prepare, and this is just my normal way I go about things. I pulled out papers. I pulled out papers I have in my stash. I've pulled out authentic papers. I sat down and went through my digital files looking for papers that I felt met my requirement of something that felt kind of light and airy, and printed those out. Some of them I resized. If you don't know how to resize a digital, I am going to list down below in the description box a link to Heather over at Rose Hill Paper Cottage. She's got a great little tutorial on how to resize digitals, and I will also put a link down there to a video by Sharon Hirth. Now, that video is not about resizing. It's not a tutorial. It's just a small section of the video where she mentions that she does her resizing in Word, and I thought it was worth doing a link in case you might find that step works for you. I don't use it a lot, but I believe you can do some resizing in Canva. So if you're a Canva user, you probably know all about that. So anyway, I pulled papers. I don't have focal images yet that I'm married to, so I didn't print any of those out. The other thing I pulled out was a little stack of different kind of envelopes, because I always like to put an envelope in my journals in one manner or another, whether it's a pocket or a flip. So let me just go through these real quick. And cardstock. I pulled out, this cardstock is a lightweight cardstock, and if I was going to compare it to anything, even though I don't have one to feel, cereal box I think would be comparable to the weight of the cardstock. I happen to have this craft colored cardstock, so I pulled that out, and that's going to be the base of the tag book. And then I pulled out a piece of antique book page. It's from a French, it's like a series of magazines that they in turn compiled all into a book, and it's from 1840. I think it's a sort of rag paper, but I'm not 100% sure. It just feels like it might have a little bit of rag in it. I've pulled out some sheet music, and I think I might pull out some other sheet music and compare colors to decide if I want to use it and which one. So that might change. I also pulled out, I have this giant antique ledger paper. It's so big. it won't show all at once, but it's huge. So my papers, like I said, some of them are resized. Okay, let me stop here a minute and just let you know that the kits that I used, I have different kits from Ruby and Pearl. I have a kit from Raindrop Lila. I have a paper from Papier de Fleurs, I think it's pronounced. And I have a paper from Amity Bloom. This one is the one from Papier de Fleurs. And this one is from Raindrop Lila. And this is Raindrop Lila. This is the one from Amity Bloom. This is the paper that I'm interested in. It came as one sheet. I did not resize that. This is Raindrop Lila. And it's her, the kit I used was her pretty neutral wallpapers. They're so pretty. So that one and this one. Is there another one? Oh, and this one, which I did resize. And then Ruby and Pearl. I used her fancy French ledgers. I used her French music covers. This was just a scrap. This is from her Angels and Backgrounds, which I resized. And this is from her Angels and Backgrounds. So those are the papers I pulled. I also pulled out some muslin. I had some white muslin, and I'm starting to cut strips off of it. These strips are about 1.25 inches wide, and they are approximately maybe 6.25 inches long. I'm going to cut 6 of these scraps or strips. I'm going to cut 6 of those. The envelopes I pulled, I don't know what I'm going to use. I'm going to try and use one of them, but you know, things have a way of changing on me. So just to show you, I've pulled out just some different sizes, some different colors. I'm not sure about this one, but I pulled it out anyway. I don't know if the color family will work. And then this large neutral. The large ones would be made into either something like this, or a flip, or for a pocket. I'm not sure yet. I don't know until I get into it. So those are the pockets I pulled. I think that's all I need to show you right now. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this video, and I'm not real smooth at all this stuff like some of you all are. So please bear with me. I am going to have to cobble this together in the editor, because I'm going to do some things on camera and I'll do some things off camera. Things that, I mean, like, you don't need to see me glue paper, I don't think. And the other thing is, I work slow, so I will have to work in bits and pieces, and sometimes my body betrays me and it says, no, 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 not today. So that's why I think it's best for me just to do what I can do, even if I have to do short segments and put them together to make a long segment. And then at the end of all that, I will see how long the entire thing is from beginning to end, and then probably cut them into parts, different parts, like part 1, part 2, whatever. And hopefully it won't be like, I just don't want a video to get too long in one sitting. All right, so I think that's it right now. I didn't tell you, I didn't tell you the important part. The cardstock, wherever I put it, you're gonna, these, and I forgot to tell you, the cardstock, I am cutting these at 5 by 7. 5 wide, 7 inches tall. Tag book can be any size that somebody wants, and it can be any number of pages that somebody wants. I'm going to make 7 pages, and I think that's all I need to tell you right now. So I'm going to go cut the cardstock and cover it with paper, and then see where I'm at, and then I'll come back on and let you know what's going on. And if you're interested, I do glue my papers to the cardstock or paper to paper. I use this glue stick. It used to be a reasonable cost. As everything else, it's gone up, so it's gotten a little bit pricey, but I go ahead and still get it because I know that it works. I've been using it for about 5 years now, and so far have not had any problems, and I've not had any of the people who have purchased my journals come back and tell me that they've had a problem with it. So I'm good with this. To each his own. Everybody has their own brands of different glues that they like. But that's what I'm going to be using to attach the paper to the cardstock. So enough of me and my gab. I will be back when I have these papers ready to show you. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I have all my pages glued, and as you can see, I have my corners cut for the tag shape. I simply used an old credit card, and I've got a different size angle on each corner, and if you're new, I just, well, let's turn this upside down. I just put this up against the edge, made sure it was all lined up, and cut the corner off, flipped it over, and did the same thing on the other side. We'll show you real quick how I've laid the papers out, in what order, and then I'm going to start attaching the hinges. So just a little flip through so you can see the pages side by side. How did I choose these to go? I just laid them out and I kept auditioning. It's like, well, does that go with that? How about that? Does that go with that? Well, maybe that one better, and maybe that one's better. So it was just a matter of time and playing with the pages laid next to each other. I did know as soon as I glued this one down to the cardstock, I knew that this I wanted to be my front cover, so that I knew, and I knew I wanted the stripes in the middle. That's all I knew when I started laying the papers out. So, and then this is the back. All right. When I put the hinges on, for these, you don't. I ironed these, and the only reason I did that is they were wanting to curve for some reason, and finger pressing the fold wasn't straightening them out for me. So I just put them under my iron and folded them in half and ironed a crease in. You do not have to do that. You can finger press them or just lay them down and glue them. I do leave a little space between each page so that when the book's together that they fold nicely. I probably wouldn't go more than 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes for glue I use tacky glue, but I'm having a problem with my hand today, and I don't get my shot until next week. So it's very painful to use that tacky glue bottle. So I've pulled out my Fabri-Tac. It's a little bit easier for me to squeeze. And what I want to do, all right, I want to, well, here's how I don't, guys, I don't measure much. A few things, but not much. So I've just marked it since I know I want it in the middle. Okay, we're going to get this glue out. There we go. Nope. Let's try that again. Okay, let me just set that aside right now. It's bugging me. All right, so if I lay that there, I want this below the angle cut there, and I just kind of measure that. And now with the Fabri-Tac, the one thing I don't like about the Fabri-Tac is thin fabrics. It will leave a mark, and I'm not particularly fond of those marks. So I do come in and spread it out with my finger. It seems to help. And I'm just going to lay that against that edge. And smooth it down. I'll trim this in a minute. But the spreading it thin seems to help, so it's a little trick I learned. I can't remember who I've learned it from. I think I've seen several journal makers do that. If I left a mark in this particular instance, it really wouldn't matter because I'm going to lay lace over it, but okay. That's the other thing you want to make sure. Let me trim this because I can't see it. You want to make sure your edges are even. Now, if they're slightly off, I would make sure that the slightly offness is at the bottom. All right. And this is a fairly new bottle, too. I think I just opened it. I'm just pulling the glue to the cut edge so it doesn't get too wide. All right, so I want to leave that little bit of space. And fold the fabric over. Am I on camera? Okay. And if you miss an edge, you can always come back later and glue it down. See, like that edge is a little loose, so I'm just going to add some more glue. I do want to make sure it's well adhered. All right, so there are the first 2 pages. I'll do one more, and then I'll do the rest off camera. The one thing, as you build this up, one side gets taller than the other side, so you just have to kind of play around with the way you lay it out so that you can get your fabric on correctly. Now see, I ironed that a little crooked. So I'm going to come back in, or maybe it's the fabric. No, I ironed it crooked. I'm just doing a little finger pressing here because I don't want to get up and go to the iron again. All right. And I'll do that when I glue it down. You know, Fabri-Tac is a good glue, but getting it out of the bottle sometimes is a real pain in the derriere. The other thing I don't like about it is when you get it on your fingers. I got that a little high, so I'm just wiping it off. I want to make sure. I'm just pulling this back over. I'm going to glue this one down first. That was the corner that I didn't iron straight, so I wanted to put that down first so that when I put the hinge on this side, the fabric will be straight. Okay. Again, I'm just checking my top edge and my bottom edge. Making me a little mark. How far in it goes, that's it. All I'm doing when I do that. I don't think I have enough on there. And leave a little space. So then there's the next 2 pages. And these fabric hinges, to me, I think that's what helps these books lay flatter than sometimes. All right, so I'm going to continue on, but I just want to show you as you go on, and this, let me do this. Okay, see, this side will build up. This side will build up in height. So if it gets awkward because it's hard to glue and lay the fabric down holding it, you may need to take the pages that are already hinged and maybe split them in half so that you have a more even amount on each side when you lay your hinges down. I hope that made sense. All right, I'm going to go off camera and do the rest of these. You've seen how I do it. You don't need to sit through me painfully gluing. And when I'm ready for the next step, I'll be back. Hey everybody, I'm back. And I've got all of my hinges on, so I'm just going to do a quick show and tell of what it looks like. And one thing I forgot to mention, when you have all your hinges complete, you want to just make sure that at the back that they're pretty even, that you don't have one sticking out further than the other, because we are eventually going to come in and cover that with fabric. When I'm done with it, I just kind of line it up on my table and, you know, give it some good pressure. And if you want, probably if I wasn't doing this video, I would have put it under something heavy to really get that settled in there. But it's okay right now. It's fine. So when you go through your, oops, got a page stuck. When you go through your book, you're going to find there's a floppiness to it, and that is part of the what fabric I'm looking. I'm going to, let me show you what I was looking at. I got distracted. There is, can you see it like a bubble? But when I look back here, I can see that the that I need to put some glue in there. So I will do that when I get off camera. But anyway, what I was trying to say was fabric hinges will give you some play in a book, and it will have a little less play once we cover the outside of it. So that's just par for the course, and that's what helps the pages lay flatter. So I'm just showing you the hinges connected to the paper. So that is the book. And I will go through, and that's what would help if you put it under something heavy, that when the glue is still initially wet, that would have put some force on it and probably adhered it a little better, but I can take care of that. I think what I'm going to do is tack this video onto the end of the first one, because the first one wasn't that long of a video, so I think what I've decided to do is tack this little part of the video onto the end of that one. What I wanted to do was just show you some decisions I've made and what I'm going to do as far as my next steps. The laces that I took out, the one that I thought I was going to use, I realized that I did not have enough of it. And so I went rummaging through my laces again, and I found this lace and decided that I'm going to cover the strips with that lace. I like the contrast with the white under it, and it's a really nice thin lace. So what I'm going to do when I get off this video is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue all the lace down on all of the strips. The other thing I am going to do is, this is going to be a pocket, and it's going to be a side pocket with the opening on the left side. And I have chosen this French music cover from Heather at Ruby and Pearl to be the front of the pocket. And I've added, just to give it a little bit more strength, I have attached a piece of rag paper French book page to the back of it. I didn't need to cover the whole thing because this is going to be at the bottom. And my thought is, and hopefully it'll work out, is I want to attach the pocket. Okay, let me get this just to give you an idea. I want to attach the pocket. It has to come down so that it's not interfering with the angles. And then this I will fold in. And so it's a rough idea of how the pocket's going to look. And I decided not to trim. At first I thought, well, I'll trim the top and the bottom to make it fit. But then I decided I had enough that I had to trim that I could actually use them for what's the word? A hinge, a flange on the top and the bottom to give the pocket a little bit more room for whatever I put in it. So I will probably do that off camera, maybe on camera, I'm not sure yet, but that's in the game plan. And then I just wanted to show you all these papers I have pulled. Now, I pull a ton of papers. I am really guilty of that, and I don't use all of them, but I want the options. And sometimes, even after I pull a ton of papers, I might go back and print some more if I'm not finding the feel, if you will, the feel that I want on a page. So just quickly, I've pulled Amity Bloom. She's got I think it's French wallpaper or a wallpaper kit. Anyway, these are full-size pages, but I printed them as 2 5x7s. And with the print option, it'll print 5x7s to a page. And then this kit is from Sweet Pea Curiosities, and it's called Valentina. And just quickly kind of go through, and I thought there's some images in there that I will probably use, and some pieces that I will probably use for pockets and such. Pull that one. This is from Lydia, Raindrop Lila, and this is her neutral wallpaper kit ephemera add-on. And I love the way she collaged these tags. And when I look at tags that come with the kit, I don't always see them just as a tag. And And just, you know, if you're new and you don't think of it this way, maybe this is a little tip for you. When I look at these, I also see that they can be used as journal cards and as pockets or tucks. All they have to do is just be cut to the shape that I want, as long as they are large enough to do that. So I've got some of her tags that I printed off, and I did print them on cardstock because if I want to use them on as tags, then I've already started with a good base. And if I use them as something else, well, that's okay too. And then this was part of the add-on, so I love these black and white and or sepia illustrations, and I like to use those. What else? And then she's got some actual, drive me crazy, journal cards. So I printed those, and then she's got some pocket options, so I printed those. All right, so there's that for options. Then I printed, this is from, I think I wrote it on there. Yes, sometimes I print them wrong, so I just print on the back, because I know I'm going to cover the backs of these, or they'll be glued down to a page. This is Cotton and Twig, I do believe. Cotton and Twig on Etsy. And I've used these before. I just love the images of the roses. So again, journal cards, pockets, tags, whatever. These are the scraps I have left over from covering the tag book. So just, and there might be a couple extras in there, but you can see they're just scraps. So of course I always save those and use them. And then these are from a kit by Ruby and Pearl. Oh, what is the name of it? I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. I can't remember. Let's see, is there one more? I guess that's it. Yep, that's it. So I've got those. Again, I was looking at the illustrations. What else can I tell you? Oh, I printed this, and I printed it on cardstock. This is from Wild Rose Boho, and I think she calls it French postcards. And I thought this might work to put into a pocket or a tuck. And I like that what she's done is she has printed them head to head. So one side, if you look at this side, that side's upside down and vice versa. So all you need to do is cut this out, fold it over, and you've already got something on the back. And like I said, I printed it on cardstock, because if I'm just going to use it as a faux postcard, then that's a good base for that. I think that's all I wanted to pop on here and share with you. I think my next step is I am going to go in and I'm just going to cut the items that need to be cut out of the pages. I'm going to go ahead and cut them, and then that way, as I move through the tag book, I don't have to worry about cutting things down, stopping and cutting and all that. So that's all I wanted to jump. Oh, and there was one other kit, Sweet Pea Curiosity, and I'm sorry, I knew the name and now I don't, but I did like this image a lot, so I'm going to see if I can have a use for that. And then I liked this young lady a lot too, so we'll see. And one other thing, I'm not sure if I'm going to go this route, but I did pull out these frames. This is from an old empty photo album. There were no pictures in it, just these pages. And then these are from Tim Holtz. And I'm thinking maybe one of these might work out for me to possibly do a pocket. See, now that one I think is too big, because I'm still going to have a piece of fabric come over the edge here. I love this one. I've used it in other projects. And I do love an oval. That might work. And then I do like this, the top of this frame. So we'll see. Who knows? I know me, and I might end up going in a totally different direction. A lot of times, I'm sure there's others of you out there like this. You have a picture in your head of what you want to do, and what you end up with is something that's like not even close. So, and I'm good with that because, hey, it all works eventually. All right. I've got my work cut out for me here off camera, and then what I will do is I will come back and start decorating with pockets and tucks and all of that. Okay, I'm out of here. I will see you probably in the next video. Bye.